Okay, so finally we are in my new place where I'm going to be catching up with every single one of you on all the videos I've wanted to do but just have not been able to do. So before we get going with showing you some pretty awesome trades that I'm sure all of you are going to like, because all of them are actually on Forex pairs, what I actually just quickly needed to update you is based on the two previous videos. I'll put it up in the little eye over there. I actually recently moved into a new place, and specifically one of the biggest reasons was because previously where I was living, it was in a valley that there was terrible Wi-Fi, terrible upload speed, and it was making it impossible to upload videos to the YouTube channel. Because of the YouTube servers, if my upload fails because of the Wi-Fi, then I have to restart the upload. So every single time my uploads were failing. But now I'm in a new place with a 50 meg upload line, specifically so I can focus on uploading new content to you every single day. So what we're actually going to be starting off with is something that I've wanted to do for quite a while, where I sit down just for like 10 minutes or 15 minutes a day and give you a breakdown of my portfolios, how I'm trading in the market and what I'm making money on. It's a bit interesting because unlike a lot of other companies or creators that you might have watched in the past, it's a bit difficult to understand the transparency and the honesty of how they're making the returns. Are these returns real? Is it a live account? And exactly where are they positioning their trades? Now for myself, because of how the MS Equities Group operates, we actually display our live verified track records to everyone. And the specific reason is because not only am I a professional trader that manages capital for clients based all over the world in multiple different currencies, I also teach students, and I teach students in over 28 countries around the world. And the important part is we trade what we teach. So every single week we sit down with our students for a 1 hour session called the Sunday Traders Talk, where we talk them through all of the trades that we're taking, the trades that are open, the ideas, the news that we're looking at. But at the end of the day, we have to show them the verified track records as well. So up on this screen, I'll quickly pop it up for you over here. This is effectively our verified track records. And what this allows us to do is show you firstly the portfolios that we have under management, the performance that we produce every single month. But then importantly, if you go on to trades, we are then able to show you the actual transactions. So you can actually have a look at each and every single one of these trades. You can have a look at the net profit per trade, the open trade time, net profit volume, the return per trade deviation, which is a really nice thing to make use of, our balance drawdowns on our accounts, as well as the transaction costs. Now, what you'll see going back here is on our performance, and I'll put the link down below for you to have a look at as well. You can have a look at the amounts of money we manage in the portfolios, our returns, as well as our annualized volatility, our drawdowns, our Sharpe ratios, etc. Now in these portfolios, they're representations of what we call a micro fund. So although we manage quite a serious amount of money, you'll see in this account is just 20,000 Rand, which is just under about $2,000. However, linking back into our main account, which I'll quickly show you, right over here, if I link into the main account, so as you can see here, this is a representation of MSE Alpha ZAR, which is managing 20,000 Rand. As you can see, if I jump into the large fund, we're managing over 835,000 Rand just in this single portfolio. We have portfolios in US dollar and pound as well, which are actually portfolios that are much bigger. So for what we're going to be doing here is basically making sure that you can go onto the link, you can have a look at our trades, our performance, but at the same time, I'm going to show you the real trades. So let's quickly jump into it so I don't have to explain too much, and then we can show you a few trade ideas. So what I wanted to do for this session is specifically try and focus on a few Forex pairs that I'm looking at. Now, I'm going to go over some stuff regarding, firstly, let me just quickly jump back on this. Firstly, our Twitter feed. So on my Twitter feed, I'm posting live trade updates almost every single day. So you can go and have a look at the trades that I'm looking at. So I'll post up every single time that, for example, back on, let's have a look at it here. So on May 3rd, I said Euro Pound buy orders have been triggered at average price of 0.8506, currently targeting the 4-hourly time frame. Now, if you go up slightly, you'll see later on, I've got another one coming out only 17 hours ago. So that was May 6th. basically saying have exited my buy orders in euro pound for some really great profits, etc. So what you can see on the Twitter page is I'm basically updating everyone live on the trades that I'm taking and the performance. And if you go back onto the actual transactions and you go back and you basically filter through the trades that I've had open, you can see here there is going to be euro pound trades all transacted and closed in profit. So you can also see that when I post things and when I'm talking about things, I'm really trading it. So getting back onto the charts, what I wanted to do is show you a quick few updates of the trades we have running. So you also see we are going to be showing you the actual lot sizes. We'll show you exactly where we are positioning our trades, and what that'll do is help you understand a bit more about the risk management. Okay, so jumping into it, so we don't have to run on too long explaining ourselves, I'm going to jump into the Aussie dollar Japanese yen trade. And this was a trade that was alerted out to me by a student. So my students, not only do we give them trade ideas, but they give us trade ideas as well. So we had a look at this trade opportunity here, where basically we've got this really nice downtrend forming. As you can see, we've got a few different trend lines set up here, whereby we have specifically this lower trend. Let me just quickly get rid of this TSI. I'll explain that a little bit later as well. Okay, so in this, we're going to have a look at specifically these channels. So what I would specifically call these as channels. People call them downtrends, uptrends, whatever you want to call it, but it's effectively a price channel where price action is moving between the highs and lows of two defined lines that sometimes run parallel or can run close to parallel. Sometimes they run volatility funnels that form a bit of a triangle, and sometimes they run in the opposite direction and actually are expanding in volume. Now what we're having a look at here is specifically a price action on the daily chart, where price is effectively following these channels that are more or less parallel. So a great way to check if these lines are parallels, you just hold your control key, so CTRL, you click on this line and you drag it down. And if you can see that these lines line up very closely, then you know it's more or less parallel. So as you can see that we have got these parallel channels where price action is spiking to the upside and then falling back down to this downside here. And what we can see is that based on our MFI, our stochastic, now to anyone who doesn't know how to use those, two videos are going to be popping up on the screen there. How to trade the stochastic is a great video so you can understand the basics of it. And then also our MFI strategy, which is one of the strategies we make use of a huge amount. Go watch those two videos, it'll explain that as well. And then the next video, I'll just quickly pop up the how to use MetaTrader platform so you can see how we set up our charts just like this. So going back onto it, I effectively have identified this bearish price channel. And based on the stochastic being oversold, so one, I would assess the fact that the stochastic is oversold. I'm just putting up some squares here. You can also see if we track back to the previous historic times where these MFI levels have been oversold or pushing towards the oversold level, you can see that we have got quite a nice correlation. So if I just took a simple, oh, that is quite a bright orange line. Let's just make it a little bit thinner. If you basically have a look at these correlations, you'll notice that based on our performance, we have had a good amount of bearish movement forming up. And now what I wanted to talk about is one of these specific points over here. As you can see, barring this specific one, which is a bit of an anomaly, and I'll explain that for you as well, so this specific orange line, we have got this really nice price channel where every single time price is pulling down into these oversold zones on the stochastic and the MFI, we then are able to identify that price is becoming oversold and wants to move back into that upward direction. And what that allows us to do is know that if price is coming down into the bottom of that channel, then we know more or less that we should have a possibility of price forming a pivot and bouncing back up to the upside of that specific price channel. So it's a very simple strategy. However, if you have a look at, like I said, with this arrow right over here, you can see how even though the MFI was oversold, price action was right at the top of this channel. So really what that effectively means is even though price was at the upper limit, the MFI was oversold. And that's sometimes a break in the data, which we don't like to look at. So the important part, and what I'd probably say I'm using a notepad for is very, very important, is you need to write down the whys of your trade. So why is the trade a good idea? Now, number one, we would say a price channel. I'm keeping this very, very simple and high level because I don't want this video to run on too long. So what we would have a look at is number one, price channel. So price channel is showing that there is a bearish price movement and we're currently at the bottom of that channel. Number two, we would have a look at the stochastic. So the stochastic is oversold. So usually what I would just say, stochastic oversold. So that just confirms, and I'd usually put in the heading of this notepad. I like to make use of these notepads. I'll usually just jot down the date, so 07.05, and then I would just say AUD, JPY, and then I put a big D there to represent the daily. So you can see I'm just making sure I've got the right time frame, I've got the pair, and I've got the date. So if I ever need to reference back to these notes, of which I usually burn through quite a few of these notepads all the time, then I at least have the right information. I can go back, pick that specific date, pick the pair and the time frame, and try and reference back to what I was actually talking about. So if the trade goes well, then yes, I'm probably not going to reference back to it. But if it's going bad, I want to look back on my notes and decide, okay, what did I do? What did I say that might be wrong or right? So the next part is that now that we've identified the stochastics oversold, number three, it would be MFI oversold as well. So I'm just basically putting what I down what I call confirmation points. The next one is going to be talking about the Bollinger Bands. Now, to anyone who doesn't know what the Bollinger Bands is, I am going to be uploading a video on that soon. I know I've been saying that for about 4 months, but at least now that I've got the good upload line, I will be doing that video. So the next one is that the Bollinger Bands are at an expanse point. So what I mean by that, okay, I'm just quickly going to write down Bollinger Bands. So what I effectively mean is when the Bollinger Bands are at the lower half of the moving average, then that means that it's at the lower limit of that price movement. And our Bollinger Bands effectively will monitor price dispersion and volatility dispersion. So if you have an average level here and price data has been moving and fluctuating like this, it'll take the middle average, then it will take the lower average, and it will take the higher average. If you know price is constantly testing those lower averages and bouncing off of it, what that means is that effectively identifies an oversold area. So as you can see here, as we go through the points, what are we identifying? Okay, we want to buy a pivot point opportunity. So meaning a market is that's pulling back, hitting a point, and then it's going to bounce straight up. However, if we don't make use of those indicators that can show us that price is really at that level, then we don't know what the average price calculations going back is. This is a simple factor of statistics, probabilities, and technical analysis. So it's a very simple trade opportunity. And now, based on our prediction, we really feel as though, if I can give you my personal opinion, if I take a simple trend line here and I just put a little bit of a cone of expectation, we're expecting some kind of movement like that. So if we have price flush to this lower level, which we've seen has occurred previously, you can see over here we've had price flush to this lower level, again over here, and then again we had this monstrous move. However, I will explain that as well. So what you can see here is that we've got price that's hitting the middle lower channel support, and then we've got a lower channel support. Now, what you can see over here is that based on this price movement, you can see how price expanded far beyond this level over here. So what is that basically telling us? Price action over here basically moved beyond the channel's specific point and then again pulled straight back. So this movement effectively, if you were to use the trend lines to just point the A to B to C, so the A to B and then the B to C, and then once again the pullback into the new trend is effectively what we're looking at here. What you can see happening there with price action is it moved to the extreme upper limit, it moved beyond that price channel. So when price volume came backwards, there was so much momentum, it broke through the bottom. Now what we can see happening over here, if we go to the very far right, what we can see is that price action didn't break through to the upside of that price channel because price action has now only returned to testing that upper price limit once since that big volatile move. So the big volatile move expanded far above, far below, and then price action has now moved back into the channel and started moving slowly back up to the top, back up to the bottom. So what is it doing? It's going back to its price behavior that it historically showed us. So what I'm doing here is I'm giving you the simple breakdowns, the points that I use to identify if a market is oversold or overbought, and then basically explaining some of the factors. We had the one point of the MFI where it was oversold, but it was not at the bottom of the price channel, so that's an anomaly in the data, that's a break in the data. And then the second one is this extreme move, break above the channel, break below the channel, and then slowly return into that level to begin going back to what the previous price behavior showed us. Now, at the end of the day, this is my personal opinion, this is my prediction. However, I know that by posting these videos out to all of you, I can give you a little bit more information about what I'm looking at and why I am taking some of these trades, just to give you a general breakdown and at least show you also the verified results. For myself, I've been trading for a very long time, and as our group continues to expand to new clients all over the world and incredibly monstrous business deals, it's important that I can also teach people as I go along with this journey. So to anyone who wants to find out a little bit more about what we do, I know I didn't really explain it. Like I said, we train students over 28 countries around the world. We teach people about how to trade and invest in the markets, and we have an online academy. This online academy is specially built for a self-study program that lasts 12 months. Students are able to get access to all the content. There's tests, there's assignments, there's even mobile app access. So I'll quickly show you that as well. Very, very spiffy looking app. Definitely an app that's much more important than Instagram, if I may say. And what I'm going to do is quickly pop it up for you now. There we go. So that is the simple example of how you can study through our academy as just on your phone. So if I would show you something, that's what phase 2 looks like. So that is the phase 2 bonus content that we have. Then we basically go through, firstly, the theory. So you go through an entire set of modules of theory. And then the next phase, you're going straight into phase 2 of the program. I'm quickly going to show you here. So that is phase 2 of the program, where you go through a whole lot of information, tests, assignments. You can study through your phone, you can study through the internet browser, and then on top of it, you gain access to working with us every single Sunday on what we call the Sunday Traders Talk, allowing you to access a 90-minute lecture with brand new study notes, note packs. I'll throw up a few examples here where we talk about the trades, the news, about strategies and how we are making money in the market, because as an educator, I can't lead by instruction, I have to lead by example. So once again, everyone, thank you for tuning into this video. I'll make sure to upload the next trade idea sometime soon, but let me know down below in the description, down below in the comments, did you like this video? Do you think we need to do more of them? Would you like me to do one a day for you, giving you an update on a trade I'm taking, telling you why I'm taking it, what I found on the trade, and exactly what I'm writing down in my special notepad. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure to leave a like on this video, subscribe if you want to keep updated with all this content, and once again, let me know, comment down below. I will see you in the next one. Cheers for now, everyone.
We'll be right back.